That's a crazy face.
Yep.
Hello, welcome to So We're Watching That Right, a podcast where two lesbians bully each other for having the same taste in anime. I'm Becky, scientifically certified best girl.
And I'm Val, everyone's favorite harem protagonist.
We might have made it over the hump of this season. Hopefully it's a bit smoother sailing from here on. We are still going to talk about Nukitashi in a bit. There will be timestamps and everything, content warnings in the description. But I am delighted to report that finally, after 6 episodes, There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless is firmly, squarely in the middle of the territory that we started this show for.
Yep.
This episode was just pure nonsense shenanigans, and it was great.
Yeah, it was exactly what I was hoping for when I saw this premise, and it's finally getting paid off. We're past the rough patches, and that makes me happy.
So, Satsuki, the Ice Princess girl, has decided that she wants to date Reneko for 2 weeks to wind up Mai, everybody's super darling. And this means that Reneko is slowly learning more about Satsuki, and Satsuki turns out to have... I don't want to use the word Machiavellian here, because we're going to use that for other characters later in this episode.
Yeah.
And I need to save the weight of that word for that. But Satsuki definitely has a very, negative worldview, which is at least in part because of, it turns out that despite looking very glamorous and kind of upper class, she's very poor. She lives in a 2-room apartment with her mom.
Yeah.
Her father is missing, divorced or dead, something like that.
Not present in any case.
Yes. Also, her mom works nights. I don't know exactly what to take from that. I assume she's a barmaid or maybe a hostess of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But she's certainly not working a sort of high status job.
Also, Satsuki is probably also... We're going to get into this, or the show's going to get into this eventually, but, she's been friends with Mai since they were in elementary school, and had to basically constantly mentally compare herself to Mai, who is from a wealthy family and doing modeling work, while she's, stuck with a single mom doing night shift jobs to keep food on the table and all this stuff. So she definitely feels like she's going to overlap with Reneko's inferiority issues.
Yeah. I mean, we see some of that this episode, right?
And it's really good.
It's very good. Reneko, having learned all these secrets about Satsuki, tries to, even the score by telling Satsuki her dark secret that she was an introvert in middle school and that her conversion to being one of the popular girls is something contrived. And Satsuki isn't surprised at all, and indeed is so blasé about it that Reneko freaks out because she's been internally freaking out about this for months at this point.
Yep.
That does lead to them having a really productive heart-to-heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really sweet scene where they're walking through the town late at night holding hands.
This entire episode is 70% really sweet, opening up to each other, and then 30% the bullshit kicks back in, affectionate.
Yes, because where they end up walking to is they walk back to Satsuki's place. They were at Satsuki's place. Reneko runs off. They go back to Satsuki's place, and Satsuki makes up a bath, and Reneko gets in the bath, and then Satsuki... And the light in the bathroom doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So Satsuki gets in the bath with Reneko with some tea lights, and, I guess it's a projector that she has that puts the flowers on the wall.
Yeah,
either that or they've got
that.
some very fancy, UV reflective tiles that have flower designs on, which doesn't entirily fit with the setting.
I think it's either a projector or they've just got stickers with more lights for stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's a good scene.
It's extremely pretty. And rose petals.
Yep.
Satsuki fully makes up the romantic bath and then starts washing Reneko.
Only your hands.
Only her hand. Well, she only gets as far as her hand.
Yeah.
And Reneko's... A motif running through this is that Reneko, maybe because of Mai, but also just because this is, I think, is who Reneko is, keeps putting lewd spins on Satsuki's actions.
Yeah.
So she's sat there in the bath with Satsuki in this really romantic atmosphere with Satsuki like washing her, and he's like, this is pervy. And Satsuki denies that it's pervy. And then they have an argument about the book that Satsuki lent to Reneko, which allegedly starts with 40 pages of older woman, younger girl, Yuri fucking before it gets to the nuanced emotional plot that is actually allegedly what Satsuki cares about.
Yep.
Leading itself into a discussion about which of them is pervier, in which it becomes clear that actually in romantic situations, Satsuki flusters maybe even more strongly than Reneko.
Mm-hmm. It's really, really, really good.
Every Satsuki blush is a deeply precious and wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And that one isn't even the best one in the episode, because then they're like, Reneko's going to stay the night on what it turns out is a futon that Mai bought and left at Satsuki's place when they were kids. But Satsuki says, well, I want a photo of me kissing you to send to Mai to aggravate her more about how I'm dating you and she isn't. So Satsuki goes in to kiss Reneko on the cheek, but Reneko being Reneko and somewhat used to Mai.
And also very sleepy.
Also very sleepy.
She was about to sleep.
And also definitely somewhat infatuated with Satsuki as well, because she keeps thinking about how hot Satsuki is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she turns her head so that they kiss on the lips, and then Satsuki really turns red.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so, so good. Speaking of so good,
good.
We watched episode 6 of See You Tomorrow at the Food Court, which sadly is the final episode because there's basically only one volume of manga, and that's good for 6 episodes. And it's a crying shame because it's wonderful. This show is so good. I'm going to miss it so much.
Yeah. There are further chapters, but they're mostly being released on like a when I feel like it basis by the author, who we've also learned is trans man, which is cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just really a good show, good comedic beats. I love both the characters that we spend most of the time with.
Mm-hmm. This episode starts out with a tragedy of its own, of course, which is that the gacha game that Wada is obsessed with announces end of service. And so Wada's Oshi is going to go away. And so Yamamoto tries to get her to simp for a 3D boy who's a YouTuber, unfortunately called Randy.
Yeah.
And this scheme succeeds to a degree that is a little off-putting to Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Oh, we get the best Wada faces yet this episode. But the most important thing that happens this episode is so the third girl, almost the only other character in the show, Saito, who almost never appears on screen but has a disproportionate influence over Wada's life.
Yeah.
Wada reports that Saito has said that she and Yamamoto look like a couple because of where they sit in the food court, because they sit next to each other rather than opposite each other, which they only do because the seats opposite where they sit are awful.
Yeah.
But this serves as inspiration so that when they see the guy that used to have a crush on Wada and bullied her in elementary school, we had this discussion last week.
Elementary school.
Skirt Flipper was elementary school, yeah. Anyway, he shows up with his girlfriend and they see him coming and they're like, oh god, it's that guy again. And so Yamamoto suggests that they act like a couple, so they snuggle up and respond with hostility when the boy walks up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everything that I could have wanted. Especially because the follow-on from that is Wada asks Yamamoto to go and see a horror movie with her. And I find it impossible to imagine that they don't end up clinging to each other in that as well.
Yeah. And then it ends on them saying, see you tomorrow at the food court and walking off to their own respective directions home.
And then the ending plays, and then there's a final shot of them at the food court meeting up again, just like they do every day.
Yeah.
This show is perfect. It's just 6 immaculate episodes of joy.
Yeah, I don't think it could have been better for how short it was. It could have been better by having more episodes, but there's just not enough for that. So I'm
glad that
I'm fine with this.
I'm glad that they didn't try to like balloon it out to 12 episodes. That was the amount of material there was.
Mm-hmm.
I want more material. If Dr. Pepper can be persuaded, not if Colonel Sanders can be persuaded to fund more of it, maybe they could get a Dr. Pepper deal as well. Hey, Dr. Pepper, I'll buy more Dr. Pepper. If it's already the only soda I drink, I'll buy more Dr. Pepper if you fund this show.
If we get sponsored by Dr. Pepper, that'd be crazy.
Anyway, moving on to another wonderful show that brings us much joy, episode 6 of season 2 of My Dress Up Darling, in which we see the consummation of this school festival cosplay plot. And this episode is all about how Gojo doesn't think he deserves to have others help him when he does the thing that only he can do and they can't. But like everybody keeps doing him little favors to make it easier for him to work on Marin's costume.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh no, people are being too nice to me because he's a silly boy. This does have its drawbacks.
Yeah.
Because on the day of the festival, he's helping Marin get set up and he's about to do her makeup and he's like, I'm glad they've left us alone for this part. I don't mind them seeing the costume reveal, but I want to be alone while I work on the makeup so that I can concentrate and get it right. And then every kid in the class, including all the boys, show up to watch.
Yep.
It's amazing. Including, so there was at the end of the last episode, there was this guy in the class who showed up in a hoodie and a beanie with a face mask because he was interested in the crossplay aspect of what Marin was doing.
Incorrect. There was a guy who showed up because he was too shy to admit that he was into the show that they were cosplaying
Sorry,
from.
yes, that's right.
Completely different vibe.
Except that he's giving off such intense egg vibes either way.
That is very much you reading into things, I feel, my dear.
No, like that quintessential egg behavior. And he shows up because he really wants to watch the makeup being done as well. That's egg behavior.
Yeah, that's egg behavior. The other stuff is he's a fan of the show because he was watching while his sister was watching. And was just like, oh, wait, this is really good. God damn it. I can't tell anyone about this. It'll be embarrassing. Which is a mirror of Gojo being like, I can't tell anyone about my life's dream. That would be embarrassing.
Yes.
That's what they're going for, not egg behavior.
I mean, I am sure they are also going for egg behavior. Because that is also, and I mean this quite seriously, that also has something to do with what Gojo is going through with his perception of like gendered roles in makeup and needlecraft and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this doesn't have to be a Gojo is trans narrative, although I think that would have legs. It's more about like a big part of Gojo's inhibition around his passions derives from gender.
Mm-hmm.
And so having this other character who, you know, I'm starting to feel like I would trust this show to have this kid transition.
Yeah.
This other kid. And then we get to see Marin in full costume, out on stage in the costume contest. Every girl in the school is instantly in love with her. She does the champagne call, and so the student council president clearly has a bit of a thing going on and is enjoying the contest.
Mm-hmm.
And whether Marin like consciously picks up on this or not, she pulls the council president on stage for her like appeal to the crowd and dips her and clearly steams the poor girl completely between the ears.
Yeah. I think the gimmick is supposed to be like the student council is doing the vote for appeals. Like, so they're going to be the final say, but also
the student council president is very, very interested.
Yo.
And by implication, not just in Marin's crossplay, but the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not necessarily saying that she's got a cross-dressing kink. I'm saying that in a way that some adolescents do, she's got something about it really fascinates her.
Mm-hmm.
And she probably cooked up the idea to some degree.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gojo is watching this and thinks to himself, I can't take my eyes off her. I wonder what this feeling is.
He's such a himbo.
He really is. God bless his soul. He hasn't got a fucking clue what's going on. Speaking of which, afterwards they're talking about, because the class, because of the costume and because Marin does such a great job, they win the entire school festival. because they get the bonus points from winning the costume contest. And so they're all going to go to karaoke to celebrate. And they invite Gojo, and Gojo goes, I'm not sure I did enough to contribute to the class. And it's like, buddy, you are the secret sauce. You literally are the thing that this class had going for it that no other class did. And the fact that we are talking about this episode in the same week of your birthday and how uncomfortable you get with people buying you gifts.
Listen. Fuck off.
You are appreciated. You bring light to people's lives.
How dare you?
And you, like Wakana Gojo, deserve nice things. And then finally, like, they're at karaoke and Gojo is overwhelmed by all the socializing and he walks off to, like, clear his head. And Marin follows him and they go to the arcade and he wins her something on a crane game. And then Marin sees a photo booth and is like, hey, get in the photo booth with me and we'll take some photos. And somehow what ends up happening is Gojo and some of the other boys from the class get in the photo booth and take a bunch of photos without Marin on her dime.
Yeah, because she put the like 500 yen in or whatever, 300 yen to get the photos, and then was just like, hey, do you want to take some photos? And a guy shows up behind Gojo, was like, wow, you've never done photo booth? Come on, let's go. And she's just like, God damn it.
It's so cruel. It's deeply funny, but it's so cruel. Mm-hmm. Oh, poor Marin. She'll get through to him eventually.
Yeah, one would hope.
Speaking of getting through to him eventually... Streak's still going. I've got him. Watari-kun's blank is about to collapse. Episode 6. This show is really divided into two strands. One of which is Watari's relationship with Satsuki, his childhood friend, who is also a horror movie character on her day off. And then the other is his relationship with Yukari, who is almost a typical rom-com heroine, who just happens to be living in a world that much more strongly is arranged around the horror element. Mm-hmm. So we get a whole bunch of stuff about how at one point as kids Watari and Satsuki decided on a whim to just run away from home together. Mm-hmm. There is some sort of promise between them that Satsuki feels that Watari has forgotten or broken, and she's really sick of his shit vis-a-vis trying to keep her in his life without acknowledging her affection for him. And the thing that happened last time of, like, he needed to speak to Yukari and he was on the point of asking Satsuki for help with what to say, which she's still not happy about. But all of that was kind of simmering. I don't think there were major turning points in that relationship this episode. He did end up helping her out at her day job, wearing a mascot costume, but, you know, that's one side of the episode. The major thing this episode was that Yukari had resolved to confess to him after they got back from their school trip, and actually does so. Like, she comes out and she confesses to him. It takes her a few tries because shenanigans keep intervening, not least of which is her being so distracted fretting about confessing to him that when they're on pool cleaning duty, she starts changing in the boys' changing room and he walks in on her halfway through changing, because of course. So Watari, bless him, asks for some time to think about it. And then I guess the next day or a couple of days later, calls out to Yukari to meet him after school, or she's waiting for him after school. No, that's when she confesses. That's when she tells him that she really means the confession romantically.
Yeah, and then they part ways, and then he spends the night fretting about it.
And he's about to give his response when the episode ends.
Hee.
I'm going to destroy you.
It's not my fault. I just think it's funny.
I quote my notes.
Yay! Our first vocal key smash of the show.
Only because you tend to choke off rather than key smashing when I get you. Anyway, the title of the next episode that we're going to talk about, appropriately enough for that ending note. Oh no, wait, hang on. I skipped one.
Yeah, you did.
That would have been a really good segue.
Oh.
And I skipped one. It was going to be Girls Are a Pain from April Showers Bring Away Flowers.
Yeah, not quite.
But I skipped over Fragrant Flower. And I think we do need to talk about Fragrant Flower for episode 5 first, because the tone of Fragrant Flower being that little bit more serious and darker, I think fits better with Watari-kun, because we left off in Fragrant Flower with Rintaro's friends finding the study guide that Kaoruko had made for him and putting together that he clearly has been hanging out with and getting to know Kaoruko, even though she's from the posh school, and his friends are pissed. In particular, it's more that they're pissed that he's lied to them and been keeping secrets from them than him fraternizing with the enemy, but that really doesn't help.
Yeah, like, especially, they spend some time during this episode talking amongst themselves without him untangling those two irritations.
Yeah.
Because it comes off as, at first, like, they're mad that he's fraternizing with someone that he supposedly just met, but then they process that and go, man, he doesn't fucking trust us, and that hurts. Which is really emotionally aware for a lot of, like, what you would expect from kids from this particular, like, genre of school.
Yes. Teenage boys who are at basically a remedial school in a Japanese anime. But, yeah, I mean, they clearly get to a place of better understanding of themselves. You know, they have this exchange that is also partly about how much Rintaro means to each of them, particularly to Saku, who feels that he would never have found community at the school without Rintaro. And I think part of the key thing is, yes, they're hurt by him not trusting them, but also they realize that part of the reason he's not trusting them is because he's too... It's a sort of martyrdom thing, right? He's taking it all on himself to deal with this tension. And by God, is he taking it all on himself to deal with this tension?
Yeah, and also they do recognize in, like, reckoning with this distinction that, like, when he responded to them, he was like, I don't want to talk about it, not there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
Which is a meaningful distinction for them, because previously he would have been like, there's nothing going on, don't worry about it. But this time he was at least like, no, there's something going on, but I'm setting boundaries with you guys.
Yeah.
Which is progress. Good boy. But...
Speaking of setting boundaries, Kaoruko comes to the bakery that night and he hides behind the counter because he's still, like, Kaoruko's friend Subaru has told him, look, being seen too much with you could ruin Kaoruko's life. So he hides behind the counter, but his mum is there and his mum is not having it with him hiding from Kaoruko. And also the counter is glass, so she could... It's not clear whether Kaoruko saw him there hiding or not.
I think she didn't think to look down there, and also with how the, like, shelves were, she probably wouldn't have seen all of them.
Yeah.
But it's still a goofy bit.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
And Rintaro's awkwardness is starting to be noticeable to Kaoruko, and she's like, something's not right here, and she's starting to worry. And then Subaru, this episode's cliffhanger ending is Subaru has met up with Kaoruko and is clearly about to confess to having talked to Rintaro behind her back to try to warn him off. And that's going to be a scene that hurts. Not exclusively because Subaru is in smart casual dress, wearing trousers and a shirt and looks absurdly good. Like 100% lesbian goals. I would kill to be able to look like that. But also, it's a deeply emotionally loaded scene. And I'm sure it's going to be horrible to watch next week in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Anyway, girls are a pain.
Hello.
Yes, I know you're one of them. Girls Are a Pain is the title of April Showers Bring May Flowers, episode 6. You might remember that the title of episode 5 was I Don't Understand Girls. And by God, does Ueno not understand girls. Yeah. Fortunately, he has a buddy who
understands the girls enough to know they're a pain.
Yes. I mean, I think, so Ueno's friend is called Tetsuo. He sits next to Iguisudani on the opposite side of the classroom from Ueno and Tabata. And he's a big, kind of strong, silent type dude. Mm-hmm. That archetype with the short, spiky hair. And Iguisudani characterizes him as an obstacle to her, and it's sort of implied at first that she just means like he keeps getting in her way. But what becomes clear over the course of the episode is that Tetsuo is the one who got all the understanding of girls, and he reads Igusidani's scheming immediately and transparently and calls her out on it and is like, hey, this is not going to work. Which he's right, like, her scheming isn't going to work because, one, Ueno is too dumb, and two, there is nothing Igusidani can do to Tabata that is worse than what Tabata's, like, negative self-talk is doing to herself.
Yup.
Which is why I feel completely safe bullying you, because I'll never be as bad as your negative self-talk.
Fucking brutal, Jesus. I am my own worst enemy. You're the second one on my list.
I'm your biggest cheerleader.
Like I said.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, no, wait, that's the same thing. Anyway, then there's a bit where Tabata has been using
body spray.
She's been using body spray as if it's deodorant and making herself really smelly, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets really self-conscious about her smell. And that causes a whole bunch of misunderstandings with Ueno.
Yeah.
Because she keeps trying to lean away from him so that he won't smell her. And he thinks that she's started to hate him because of it.
Yep.
But they square that away. And then there's the classic somebody... I mean, it might have been Ugusidani stealing her umbrella.
It is an undetermined mishap with her umbrella being misplaced. No,
it might have been Shimbashi hiding it so that...
I don't think there's any malice or intent here.
No.
I just genuinely think it got misplaced somehow.
Yeah, Tabata finds herself without an umbrella when it's raining. So Ueno offers to walk her home, and Tabata thinks that this is, like, dangerous and terrifying. So Ueno gives her his umbrella and goes home without an umbrella in the rain. And so what Tabata does, bless her sweet heart, is she rushes home, throws on a raincoat, and then bikes out to find him in the storm to give his umbrella back, rather than just doing the normal thing and waiting to the following day or something. Because it's not, by the time she catches up to him, it's not like he's getting any less wet.
Yeah. These two are both really stupid.
We haven't even gotten to the most stupid Ueno moment this episode.
I know!
Which is that, so at one point Tabata found a love letter to Ueno. Like, she was about to leave something in his locker or something, and it fell out of the locker, but she ended up with this love letter that's from some other girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she and Ugusidani make sure that Ueno gets it. And his immediate conclusion from a flowery letter covered in hearts asking him to meet behind the school is that it's a fight challenge letter.
Yeah.
And so he goes spoiling for a fight.
It's really fucking funny. There's like little labels on them, just like raised by shonen manga, and then it cuts back to the girls who are both labeled raised by shoujo manga, and they're like, I don't think it's a fight. It's really good. Oh, he's so dumb.
He's so dumb. And speaking of so dumb...
Go off, dear.
Turkey Time to Strike episode 5. So, the thing that they need to do in order to be able to return to their own time is there needs to be a lightning strike. So there needs to be a storm. But they are in the Sengoku period, which it turns out falls within the mini ice age, which is obviously much cooler than present-day Japan, so storms are much rarer. And they missed their opportunity in the storm that happened in the previous episode. So they have to come up with some other scheme to time travel. So the nerd girl says, well, okay, another trope of time travel is if you fall off a cliff, you time travel. Which I thought it was if you fall down the stairs. They literally go to the top of a ravine. And so the plan is not that they're going to jump into the ravine, because the trigger is always a bowling ball that carries them away to time travel. The trigger is they're going to roll one of their bowling balls into the ravine. Then hopefully it will activate and start floating up into the sky, and they will grab onto it, and that will take them home. This is a really bad plan, and fortunately it doesn't work, but this does mean that one of the balls gets lost at the bottom of the ravine.
This show is so stupid. Every time I hear about it, it's a new, very stupid idea.
Anyway, most of this episode is about Nozomi, who is the glamorous blonde girl in the team who doesn't really care about bowling and hates being stuck in the past, but remember, has deemed herself to be engaged to the twink samurai that took them in.
Right.
And it's about her bonding with the little sister character of that samurai, who, remember, hated them because a time traveler stole her, it turns out not mother, big sister, who is totally the main character's mother. Like, that's absolutely what's happened here is the main character's father time traveled by magical power of bowling, fell in love with the eldest sister in this family, took her back to the future with him, and they settled down and had a kid, and that's my...
That's so much.
Yep.
Why is this show?
I don't know, but it's great. Anyway, there's this tension between Nozomi and the youngest sister, Anzu, in particular, and eventually they sort of reconcile because they come to a mutual understanding, but this does involve... Nozomi is the one who's got the thing about gummies, and so when Anzu is trying to like make an apology gesture to her, she asks, what does Nozomi like? And the other girls tell her, gummies. And she goes, oh, goomies, we've got a gumi tree in the backyard. And they have, but it's finished fruiting. So she runs off, this tiny girl runs off into the forest to find a gumi tree that's still got fruit. Gumi is like it's apparently a bit like a cherry, but tastes a bit like rhubarb, which is a fascinating proposition. I would love to try some of those at some point. And where she finds gumi fruit still in a tree is halfway down that same ravine. So she climbs down the cliff and gets stuck. And then Nozomi finds her and climbs down the cliff after her and is sort of in the process of rescuing her when the tree that they are clinging to snaps and they fall to the bottom of the ravine, where they do find Nozomi's bowling ball.
Good, I guess.
And then they are menaced by a pack of wild dogs. And Nozomi uses her bowling ball to distract the dogs so they can get away.
What? The bowling ball MacGuffin is crazy.
It's so good. So Nozomi does all this stuff to try to save Anzu from falling down the cliff to her death. And the turning point is her realizing, like, no, I actually do care about saving this girl, even though she's been a brat to me. I guess I am a good person after all. Because the undercurrent here has been, she's the shallow, selfish one. Mm-hmm. And she's really, like, bothered about the fact that her phone's running out of battery and stuff. And what emerges, and this is why I'm still watching the show, what emerges through all of this shenanigans is Nozomi clearly thinks of herself as a vain and shallow person, as the kind of person who would give up on trying to save the child who was falling down a ravine. And in the moment, she doesn't. So there is this line where she goes, wait, I am a really good person, ha 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 ha. And it's very, very funny, but also underlying it is this character thing that was actually really quite powerful. I like that. It's a good show. You just have to wade through all the bowling nonsense.
The average sports anime.
Anyway, do you want to lead off on Mikadono Sisters episode 6?
Yeah, this episode of dealing with the Mikadono Sisters as a breeze was sent from hell to kill Becky.
So much of this show is Kazuki is sent from hell to kill me. It's not fair.
She's gonna die of purple Rin Penrose.
Stop calling her that! Please stop calling her that.
But it's so funny to watch you squirm.
At least call her purple Hoshimechi Suisei. It's marginally less mortifying.
But yeah, no, it's a really cute episode. I love you too. It's a really cute episode that, like, man, I love date episodes, especially when it's got people trailing them.
Yes. Because
they're definitely not into him, but super interested in what he's doing with their sister. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's classic, that level of shenanigans, and it's good. I love it. Yeah.
Kazuki, who is the eldest sister, the glamorous one who always plays prince types in her theatre troupe, goes on this date with you because she wants more experience, like, being feminine. Mm-hmm. And she keeps blowing it on the date because she can't stop being the prince. It doesn't help that she's 2 feet taller than you. Mm-hmm. And at one point, he does get mistaken for her little brother. So they do a bunch of classic date stuff, but she keeps doing all the manly side of things, like, you know, they're at the aquarium watching the dolphin show and he's about to get splashed and she covers him instead of him covering her.
Yep.
And then she miraculously dries out somehow.
And then the two other sisters who are not on the date were trying to sabotage each other with their goofy, like, trailing outfits and failed because they're both cute as hell.
Yeah. So what happens is that as a disguise, they agree to dress each other from their own wardrobes, and they try to sabotage each other to make each other look stupid, but unfortunately, the style crossover is just extremely stylish. Clearly, an artist involved in this has some real fashion doll stuff going on, and it's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was progress in their relationship in that they stopped all calling him New Kid and called him by his name instead.
Yeah.
Bless. And then there is episode 6 of Bad Girl.
She's so bad at so many things.
She really is. So most of this episode was also a Goobers follow people around on a date episode. But before that, we had a set piece where I missed the moment that explained why you wanted to, like, train to fight.
Because she was just like, oh, she watched a movie and she was just like, oh, right, if I'm a bad girl, I need to be violent. I need to be trained to be violent. Help me out, it's Suzu, the only violent person I know.
And Suzu, like, holds up her hands and says, okay, practice punching my hands. And you punches as hard as she can, and the result is that she sprains her wrist.
Yep.
I love her so much. Perfection.
Yeah. And then she manages to sprain her other wrist somehow.
What it is that Mizutori sees that she's sprained her wrist and is, like, trying to wish it better or something. And Yu is so flustered by this that she falls over, and in falling over, sprains her other wrist.
Yep.
Which leads to Mizutori taking responsibility by being Yu's hands for the day, including feeding her.
Mm-hmm.
And Suzu gets super mad about not being the one who gets to feed Yu because she's in love with Yu. Just like me, I'm in love with Yu. I've been trying not to make that joke for 6 weeks. Sorry.
I love you too.
Anyway, then the troublemaking classmate of Mizutori, Ki, who was introduced in the last episode, approaches Yu and Suzu and says, so I heard that Mizutori's got a date with a special someone at the theme park next week on Golden. It's Golden Week, right?
Maybe.
Yes, it's Golden Week, and Yu is moping because it means she won't get to see Mizutori for a week.
Oh, yeah.
And Ki shows up and gives them theme park tickets. And they go to the theme park to stalk Mizutori. And they see her, sure enough, on what appears to be a date with a cute girl. And they follow her around and shenanigans ensue. And of course, the cute girl is her younger sister, who does have an alarming siscon and is instantly at odds with Yu.
Yep.
And the climax of this is they want to go on the swinging ship ride because Yu and Mizuki, the younger sister, have heard rumors that there's a seat where if you sit on it with the one you like, you'll get married. So Yu and Mizuki both want to sit on that seat with Mizutori and end up fighting over it, and both sitting on the seat that they were fighting over, which turns out not even to be the seat, and instead Mizutori and Suzu sit in the love seat.
Yep.
Which, good, excellent, perfect. This is the shit.
And also, so after we get through, like, the bulk of the episode after the ending, there's a bit where it's basically a flashback to Suzu in middle school, dealing with the fact that Yu was going to go to a different high school than they were planning on, because she, got attached to Mizutori.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they were planning to go to one high school.
Because it was nearby.
Yu ran into Mizutori somewhere and fell instantly in love, changed schools on that basis.
And Suzu was looking into, like, studying for the exam so that she could stay with Yu, and met Mizutori at the bookstore. But yeah, damn, Suzu got it rough.
Suzu's got it so rough, poor kid. We are Team Suzu.
Yeah.
Then there's The Summer Hikaru Died, episode 6.
Yep.
Which, like, this was an interesting episode. It was less... It was more a things simmering episode than a things happening episode, but it leaned into a whole bunch of philosophical discussion about identity and death, and kind of taking not Hikaru's perspective as a supernatural being who can see ghosts and stuff, taking that perspective seriously on, like, a lot of it is the not Hikaru creature struggling with the fact that he doesn't want Yoshiki to die.
Yeah, but he
even though he struggles to differentiate life and death.
Yeah, that distinction is proving difficult for him to process internally in a way that is, interesting to think about for something with not our standard awareness of how life and death works.
Yes. Also, he almost kills one of Yoshiki's friends because it turns out that she can kind of sense that something's up with him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very tense episode. Then there's Secrets of the Silent Witch, which this episode was basically entirely about Monica struggling with like the etiquette and upper class life part of the school curriculum. She's failed a dancing exam because of course she has, because this girl can't dance. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And also her practice partner is a goofball who doesn't know how to lead, which is quite important in like ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
There's a lengthy sequence where they have a tea party exam, which it's not clear how this exam is being assessed. What happens is they put the girls in groups of 4 and they each have to serve the others tea. And it seems like assessment was just left up to the mean girl who was placed at their table.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on what the fuck is going on there, but...
I mean, it is never a good idea to think too much about the pedagogical methods in a fiction unless that fiction has been written by like teachers who really care about doing justice to pedagogical method, because people get it wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an excuse to have Monica pranked by the bully who throws away her tea in the kitchen. So Monica has to improvise, and what she does is make coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to dance practice, and the student council pretty boys show up to help Monica and her friends with the dance practice. And it really is like, it's building up this romance between Lord Ashley, the white-haired boy that Monica saved from the amulet, and Monica. And, it's cute and it makes sense. And also, because of who Monica is and how small she is and how much of a mouse she is, it is the most absurd thing. So, like, he dances with her and he's very good at leading. So suddenly she feels like she can dance and she can build some confidence with it. But she feels that he's very different while he's dancing. And her way of processing this, that it is still him, is to say all the numbers in his body say that this is still Lord Ashley.
Mm-hmm. This girl has such the autism with numbers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when she dances with the prince instead, he's obviously very gallant and flamboyant, and she can only cope by... he's got a big emerald brooch on his chest, and she starts staring at it and working out all its, like, crystallography and optics properties.
Yep.
Oh my god. And she's, like, the dance finishes, and she's just standing there staring at it, mumbling crystallography stuff to herself.
Yep. After he did a, serviceable job at distracting her with actual discussion, but she was just like, I'm gonna look at this
Look
gem
at the
on
pretty
chest.
gem.
Yeah.
Okay, we've already been going for 55 minutes.
Yep.
I'm going to try to be really quick about these brief mentions. With You in the Rain, episode 6, we are introduced to Fuji's twin brother, who looks almost exactly like her, and confuses the hell out of the Tanuki at first. They also have a cat. The Tanuki tries to befriend the cat. It goes exactly about how a dog trying to befriend a cat usually goes, but they make friends by the power of napping together. It's very cute. In Cultural Exchange with the Game Center Girl, Etna from Disgaea shows up because she has a grudge against Renji for beating her once when she went to the arcade to play a fighting game when she was in like elementary school, and now she's in middle school, and it turns out that she's actually in... I can't remember whether she's in Lily and Aoi's class, but she's certainly in their school and in their year. And Lily, being Lily, adopts her.
Yep.
No, that's too domineering a relationship. Limpets onto her? Something like that. Anyway, they go back to the arcade, and because Aoi is there, Renji puts on his disguise, and Karen says, why are you wearing that? You look ridiculous. Take those sunglasses off. And somehow that is what it takes for Aoi to finally recognize her brother.
Yep.
And there is a cute bit about them being good siblings for one another and how much he cares for her and so on. But it does mean that the cat is out of the bag about Lily having a crush on Aoi's older brother. Mm-hmm. And also Aoi realizes that Lily must have known this, which I'm sure will have consequences. And the episode ends with the class president, who spends too much time talking to herself to actually effectively intervene in any situations, overhearing them talking about going to the game center, and she's clearly troubled by this in a way that means she's going to take an interest, and she's going to start showing up to the game center.
Yeah.
Which, good. More shenanigans, please.
Renji, you gotta stop attracting weird middle schoolers.
To be fair, the student council president clearly cares about Lily and Aoi primarily.
Yeah, but also...
Sorry, she's not the student council president, she's the class president.
Yes.
Why do they have so many presidents in Japanese schools? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Speaking of what the fuck, in Detectives These Days Are Crazy, episode 6, there's an attempt to set up a girls' night out, and the crazy scientist girl, instead of offering anything that makes sense to Maki, offers her lizards. Like, they meet and Mashiro hasn't gotten there yet, and Azuha, as an icebreaker, offers Maki a lizard. They've never met before, they don't know who each other is. And then Maki offers Azuha a business card, and Azuha takes it and offers Maki another lizard, but this one has her business card details written on it.
Oh.
This show is like, the funniest bits of this show are some of the funniest things we've seen this season.
Yeah, I really just I want a spin-off with Azuha more than anything. Like
I want a Maki spin-off.
Yeah, that too.
Low-key the most creature girl in this show.
Yeah. I noticed you did skip over one line of these notes, which is two words.
I was getting to that. The lizards thing felt like the better segue in the moment. The better segue. Shout out to our Discord community who were discovering the horrors of the spelling of segue this week.
And victuals.
And victuals. Victuals. Anyway, the other thing that happened was that the detectives swapped assistants. So Maki came to help the main character, and Mashiro went to help. Is it Asanaro is the other guy? Which was actually because Mashiro had accidentally broken a bunch of stuff in the main detective's office, and he was mad at her. But they all made peace in the end, and I think you were the first one to use the word swingers. I think that was your fault.
Yeah.
But it is in my notes as detective swinging.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do come up with turns of phrase on occasion. And by that, I mean most weeks.
You have a wonderful way with words, and I love you very much.
How are you going to segue into this next one?
I was just going to say, in Apocalypse Bringer Mynoghra episode 6, Atto wants Takuto to have attendance, because that's a thing that an evil lord should have. For some reason, and I will admit I lost the thread of this
so I can explain it. So, like, she wants him to have attendance because she's also a hero unit and needs to defend the front line.
Mm-hmm.
So she can't always be there for him. And she's just like, okay, we need to get you someone easy to talk to. Who are easy to talk to? Probably children. I don't know. She goes on a whole fucking tear about that.
Yeah, I got a little bit lost in the tear, and then for some reason he specified girls.
I don't know either.
Which then led to Atto telling the elf leaders the king likes little girls.
Yeah, I don't think he specified girls. I don't know. Fucking weird bit.
It's a very weird bit. And then all the children who are put forward are just terrified of Takuto because, remember, they can still only see him as a vaguely person-shaped dark cloud with evil eyes.
Yep.
And the only two girls who aren't scared of him are these twins who are deeply, deeply traumatized from the time when they had to eat their mother.
Yep.
And so most of this episode is about unpicking that trauma, and like they make a deliberate effort to serve him poorly in the hope that because he is evil, he will have them executed. But obviously he's not actually evil at all. And at one point they do yell at him for not being evil enough, but he eventually figures out their plan and is able to talk to them and like help them find a little bit of peace. And we'll see where that goes.
Yep.
Quick update on Utagoe and Mille-Feuille, episode 3. So episode 2 ended with Irie, the eccentric club president, deciding that Uta, the extremely shy main character, will be the lead singer for their first song, even though the other first year in the group, Musubu, is a better singer. Nobody likes this. Uta doesn't want to be lead, Musubu does want to be lead. Irie refuses to explain. It's very clear that she thinks that this will be good for them both because Musubu needs to learn a bit of humility and Uta needs to build confidence. But it's a bad standoff, and at one point Uta runs off feeling overwhelmed by all of this, and she meets the sixth character who's featured in the intro, who is a shy purple-haired girl who never speaks. And it turns out that this is because, despite being a first year in high school, she sings bass. and she has a bass voice. And the instant transvocal dysphoria vibes were so strong. Like, she's really self-conscious about her voice, obviously because it's a very bass voice for a tiny girl. But the a cappella group doesn't have a bass singer, so I'm sure that she will find kind of home and welcome in that context, just as soon as Uta and Musubu can stop beefing long enough to introduce her to Airi so that Airi can dragoon her into service. Briefly on Arknights Rise from Ember, episode 6, this episode introduced the villain of this particular arc of the story, who I loathe. I always loathed him. I loathe him still. The moment he was on screen, I was just like hair standing on end and hissing and snarling. They did a very good, effective job at bringing him to life. That's really all I want to say about that one. We are now entering the lewd block.
Yep.
Brief note on Chuhai Lips, episode 6. This week we had a mature married woman who looks underage and is stressed because her husband is into really big boobs, but she's flat. So our hero has to fuck her really hard to like relieve some of her stress, basically. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think we peaked with the Tanuki episode, and I don't know if we're going to get back to that peak.
Yep.
But at least there was a peak. Unlike in Nukitashi The Animation, which... Okay, so important point of clarification. Definitely last week, and I think the week before as well, I kept saying Asane's name when I meant Nanase, and maybe vice versa. Asane is the younger sister, Nanase is the, like, obvious main girl love interest. This is why I don't try to remember character names, because if I just call them, like, the sister and the love interest, then everybody knows who I'm talking about. But if I try to do it in character names, they get confused in my brain, because my brain doesn't work for names.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll try to get it right this time. The squad hatch a plan to smuggle a USB stick into the school to hack into the school systems to find information about the girl they need to find. The first hurdle is that Jun has hid the USB stick in his chastity belt, which is deemed insufficiently sexy by the like equipment inspection at sports day. He's forced to take it off and swap to what ends up being very unsexy, like exercise shorts, surfer shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the show doesn't make sense. But he's got a reserve strategy, which is he's got a butt plug with the USB stick in it. And he makes Nanase stick it up his butt without any lube. This boy loves working with lube, and he doesn't lube the fucking butt plug. And that's not even the most upsetting thing that happens with this butt plug this episode.
Yep.
Anyway, he and Nanase both have to participate in the sex sports day before the plan can happen. But because the whole school thinks that they are fucking in an enormous amount, and that Nanase is like the most sex-havingest girl in school, the solo events that they're each put in, everybody else forfeits because they're convinced they can't beat them. They can't get out of the event that they have to do as a pair, which leads to truly the worst sex scene ever created.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is where we start to get into the things that don't work about this show. Because the sex scenes aren't sexy, and indeed are kind of nightmarish. A lot of the humour of this event is clearly supposed to come from puns that work in Japanese but not in English. So, like, at the start of one of the events, there's an announcer that says, you know, I don't know what the Japanese means. In English, in the subtitles, it's localized as, all sperm participants, please assemble at the uterus line.
Yeah. It's a combination of puns that you know were not, like, double-checked against, like... Here's the thing. There's an English release of this game.
Mm-hmm.
They could have checked this against the game for better ideas.
So, we'll get into this, but I looked up some reviews of the game this morning, and one of the things that's said about the localization is that they didn't do a good job of localizing the puns in that either.
Well, yeah. The thing is, like, it's extremely, like, you would need several TL notes for most puns, and the game and show so far is mostly just dumb sex puns.
Yes.
But, like, with none of the restraint that you would get out of, like, Shimoneta or Setokai Yakuindomo.
Yeah. And, you know, there are still funny bits this episode. So, after things have gone horribly wrong in a variety of ways during the really bad sex scene, Jun is infiltrating the school. He runs into the purple-haired girl who is very self-conscious because she thinks she's fat, who is also trying to break into the school to do something in the student council office, and they're about to get discovered. So he gives her the USB stick butt plug with instructions for its use as a USB stick and goes to distract the sex cop who is about to discover them. You described it as a D&D bard bit.
Yeah.
And it is, it's kind of funny because she's on a mission for some reason and doesn't have time to have sex with him, and he's trying to distract her by getting her to have sex with him. He stalls just long enough. The purple-haired girl comes out of the office walking funny because she has also hit on the idea of inserting the butt plug to avoid discovery, which means that this butt plug has now gone unwashed and unlubed into 2 separate assholes in the space of this episode, which is horrific.
Yeah.
And at some point it is like, what's the appeal supposed to be here? And this is why I went and looked up some reviews of the game to see what the response to the game had been. Apparently the game itself made quite a splash when it came out, but the reviews I read indicated like lots of people who don't seem to have any better idea of what the show is, what the story is than us. I saw similar kinds of confusion. But one strand running through it was that there's an element of parody here.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the solution to the equation, right? As a creative project, this is a mess. And it's a mess in a way that activates my brain to try to piece together what the mess could have been trying to be. And I think if we take this as a mess that was trying to be parody, it's like, sure, it tried to be parody. It failed.
I mean,
it's bad parody.
I don't think it is bad parody. It's parody of really bad, like, nonsensical media that is, excuses for porn.
Yeah, so my standard of parody is it has to add something. It can't just be, haha, look at this, isn't it stupid? And that's the element that's missing. And indeed, in the first couple of episodes at least, it fell into the great vice of parody, which is claiming parody as an excuse for indulging in exactly the same thing. Anyway, as a result of all that, we decided we're going to stop watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to fit it into the episodes of the cast. It's also like really hard to fit it into our viewing week. Wherever we sit down to watch it, it's going to feel weird going to this show from anything else we watch, or from this show to anything else we watch.
Yeah.
So we're going to drop it. Maybe some of the character stuff pays off later on. The few reviews I saw that were really positive said that they'd gotten something out of the kind of character dynamics.
Yeah. But also, I don't think we're going to see most of those adapted well to an anime.
Yeah.
Because they're, like, buried in 3 different character routes that each explore like, one of the girls and their foil in, like, the student council. So, I don't know. Pay me $300 and I will review the visual novel.
We are not doing it for as little as $300.
Fine, pay me $15 an hour for my reading time, and then
I said we'll start a Patreon, and if we get to 4,000 a month, we'll do a live stream of it on Fansly or whatever.
Unlikely.
It's unlikely that Fansly will exist. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about The World God Only Knows, Season 3, Episode 10 to 12.
I love this show. It's so good.
I will never be okay again. My partners are monsters. How very dare. I will destroy you all from orbit with laser rocks.
How do you feel about that Hamilton AMV at this point?
I haven't been able to make myself go back and rewatch it since.
Yeah, that tracks.
Like, this show is an epic rom-com that basically ends on the 2 romantic leads physically apart, completely separate, and sobbing.
Yep.
And there's incredible power in that. Like, I wish maybe I missed some of the early dynamic building between Keima and Chihiro. Maybe it was just not played very well in the anime, because their relationship with all its revelations and twists in the 3rd season did feel like it came a little bit out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue of, like, they skipped, like, what could have been another season between season 2 and Goddess's arc.
Yeah.
Because there are little bits of Chihiro noticing Keima over the course of things.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, remember how Yui got body swapped with Keima?
Mm-hmm.
She got interested in being in the band while still in Keima's body.
Oh.
So, yeah, there are things about the anime that I wish they did differently, but like what we got is still very strong.
I hate that I'm going to read this manga.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that you've won.
I told you.
Just the absolute narrative haymakers that the third season of this show swings. Man, it takes guts as a writer to do that stuff. I am so impressed and so mad.
Yeah. So I recently finished reading A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, which is cited as an inspiration for The World God Only Knows.
Among many other things.
Among many other things, but like one of the things that like I definitely see it in, there's a scene in or like there's an area in that you go to in this monument that's kind of set away from the town you're in. And like it's this giant underground tunnel that lights up because of some ore. And it reminded me, I figured this out while I was playing the game, but the tunnel that Tenri and Keima were in as a kid with all the Weiss?
Mm-hmm.
That tunnel is like, there's like a rock on like a monument out far away from the town and a tunnel between that and the town where a bunch of shit happens. And that is very to me.
Mm.
But like seeing that and also knowing where the rest of the story goes, which is a time travel arc, it's just like, okay, I can see how like got to this.
Yeah.
And I think
I'd forgotten you mentioned about the time travel arc.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I'm going to read this manga.
Yeah, it's like 280 or something chapters, and the anime
That's
gets
so
up.
much manga.
The anime gets up to 189. So like basically half of that again for assorted things.
I don't want to read 300 chapters of Keima fucking Katsuragi.
You're gonna though.
Monster.
But yeah, it's really good. I have over the years come to appreciate the source material more, and I think the ending of it was something that put a lot of people off because they didn't want specifically. There are some little things about the ending that, like, if you were looking for something else out of this series, I get it, because like it's a whole harem thing. If you wanted something that was not, he ends up with a single girl, I get it, but oh well, it's good, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of good, I think Kimi ni Todoke episodes 12 to 13, which is like the end of the core, but not the end of the season, because it's an older show, and that kind of structure was a little bit less strong, but it's definitely like we get the climax of the Kurumi arc, which is Kurumi continues to do everything she can to sabotage Sawako, and inadvertently, because one of the things she tries is like telling Sawako that she likes Kazuhaya, that makes Sawako realize that she likes Kazuhaya too. And Kurumi tries to set up this whole thing of Sawako maybe getting with Ryo.
It's Ryu. I fucked up.
No! Names!
I owned up to that last time we talked about this show.
Sorry, it didn't stick. Again, names will always betray me. Ryu, by the way, turns out to have a crush on Chizu, which is just perfect. Imagine being stuck having a crush on me.
Couldn't imagine that, dear.
I think we're somewhere past crush at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kurumi schemes up a scenario where Sawako and Ryu are talking, and she's convinced Kazuhaya that they are becoming intimate, and then she like walks Kazuhaya over to where they are talking in an attempt to like make him think that they've gotten together so that he'll give up on Sawako. And instead of that, Kazuhaya's response is to literally just grab Sawako and drag her away so that he can actually lay out his feelings. Which, bless her, Sawako is so scared of actually dating him, which is understandable for who she is and like the circumstances and everything. But also, I hope they've managed to figure it out. I assume they will. And Yano, the only smart one,
this is true,
has put it all together and has figured out what Kurumi's up to and confronts her. I forget exactly where it happens in the sequence. Somehow their shit-ass jock bastard teacher, who's really, really annoying, comes away with the impression that Kurumi is in love with him, and maybe also Kazuhaya comes to believe that as well, which is just delicious schadenfreude. Anyway, Sawako is realizing that she is romantically interested in Kazuhaya, and she thinks, Kurumi is my friend. She trusted me to tell me that she likes Kazuhaya. I want her to be the first person I tell that I've figured out my feelings for him. So she goes looking for Kurumi and finds her right as Yano and Chizu are confronting her. Chizu is the world's least effective bad cop.
Yeah.
Which, again, accurate. I would be terrible at that. But Sawako comes around the corner, sees the three of them talking, and bless her sweetheart, her initial response is, "Oh, have you all become friends?" Episode 13 was delicious. It's just so good.
This is the show that, like, I've told this to Becky every time we watch it. I get to the end, like, when I first watched it, I got to the end of an episode, I was just like, oh no, I can't stop there. I cannot stop there. And we keep having to stop there. And it's just like, it's good.
Okay, let's talk about Loner Life in Another World, episodes 8 and 9.
My trash.
I genuinely don't think this show is trash. I think several of the characters in it think that they're in a trash show. But they're kind of just wrong. And the setup here, the build-up through episode 8 is so deft. Haruka hears rumours of a treasure that can make people like you, because he thinks that the reason the class president and all the other girls are always yelling at him is they don't like him. And the reason they won't let him do what he wants, which is go back to his cave in the forest and be alone, is because they don't like him. So he thinks, I will get this treasure that will make people like me, so they'll let me go. The treasure is called the pheromone ring. He thinks that if he gets the pheromone ring, the girls will like him more, so they will let him go back to his cave. He could not be more wrong about literally every part of this. It's great. He's going to get this stupid ring, and all hell is going to break loose. And what actually happens is he ends up challenging the 100-floor dungeon, bypasses it all and lands on floor 101 where he has to fight the Dungeon Emperor. Turns out she wants him to kill her to set her free from the dungeon. He ends up subjugating her instead because he has this, like, power that subjugates anyone who, like,
consents.
It's as little as consent, okay.
Yeah, because he consented, like, the gals also were like, please help us train. And he was just like, yeah? And, and they got subjugated.
And now he's subjugated the Dungeon Emperor, who already has all her stats at 99, even though subjugating her and liberating her put her down to level 1. So she's really powerful.
Yeah. Quoth Haruka, I subjugated a girl again. But wait, do skeletons count?
She counts, buddy. Anyway, the rest of his class are determined to, as they see it, rescue him from the bottom of the dungeon. So they are fighting their way through level by level. It's really hard. They're kind of under-leveled for it because they're like in the 30s and they're at level 50. Meanwhile, because he bypassed every floor, he's got to go back up through them. He doesn't have a flight power to make that easy. So he's having to fight every floor, and he just keeps using janky bullshit strategies.
Because that's all he has!
Yeah! And it keeps working. It's really annoying. And he doesn't even get good XP from it because his XP growth is fucked.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, the funniest thing for me, I'm gonna read these fucking novels, but I read a little bit of the end of volume 1, which is when he beat Tanaka, and his explanation for why he was able to beat Tanaka, who had all these super OP bullshit skills, is because, well, he was building to beat people with OP skills. I don't have any of those, so none of his strategies worked. He was a glass cannon made for god kids, and I am not one of those. I'm just some asshole with a lot of, like, minor illusion shit. Like, it's...
You anticipated all my strengths, but you reckoned without my weaknesses. It's such a good bit.
It's so good. Yeah?
There's a segue about shows not having any good bits. This show is just made of bad bits, but by God, are there a lot of bits in Infinite Stratos.
I would be sorry, but y'all asked for it.
Sin. Heresy. So, Ichika finds out that Charles is a girl. I forget whether that's before or after. It's before the scene where it turns out that Charles/Charlotte can't use chopsticks, so Ichika feeds her.
Yes, it's before.
There's also the German girl who is absurdly fixated on Ichika's older sister, who at one point the German girl goes on a rampage and Ichika's sister parries her with, you pointed out that it's an
like Infinite Stratos
IS sword. It's a mech sword, not a human sword. But she's just standing there without her mech, holding this sword.
Yeah.
Parrying this superpowered mech that the German girls.
I don't think Chifuyu gets into a mech literally at all in the anime. all of her bullshit. She has an action scene or two in the season 2 OVA World Purge, but it's not in a mech. She's a badass without one, it turns out.
Yes. Anyway, we finally got a moment of authentic Britishness when the British girl called the German girl a stupid German cow. Then the school, on the basis that it now has 2 male students, created a men's bathhouse for Ichika and Charles, but Charles is Charlotte.
Yeah.
And so when they actually went to use the baths, Charlotte got in the bath with him and did so naked in the Japanese tradition, and this show is daft.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode ended with the German girl barging into their class, kissing Ichika in front of the entire class, and declaring her intent to make him her bride.
Yes.
Which, look, if they force femme this boy, it will raise the show in my estimation at least somewhat.
That's not gonna happen. Sorry. Voice actor already got transed. We are watching it with the dub because I am a sucker for the French accent on Charlotte. Sorry.
It's not even that strong.
I know, but it's cute. Shut up.
Charlotte is very cute. Bless her poor heart.
Poor purple heart.
Anyway, let's do some brief mentions, wrap this shit up because this is already a long edit. Episodes 4 and 5 of Coffin Princess Chaika Season 2, they got to the island that notionally has the Emperor's Hoard on it. What it actually has is a research facility where they have manufactured Miku, who is actually a Gundo who imprints on White Chaika. Mostly this isn't an excuse to just like shake up all the different parties so that different characters from different sides have to work together for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
In Heavenly Delusion, episodes 2 to 4, I'm watching this with Tara. Tara made some good guesses, but she was like, okay, one theory or also second theory. And it's like, yes, those are the 2 theories that you can have about this show. Or the 2 main groups of theories you can have about this show. I had forgotten. So in one of these episodes, they're on a boat and they are attacked by a fish monster. And the fish monster can come out of the water. It's got lots and lots of like limbs that end in hands that it can use to like wall walk. And it can survive out of the water because it somehow creates a layer of water around itself. I had forgotten that the way they defeat the fish is they lure it into the ship's hold, where it mysteriously starts to dry up. And Kiriko explains, yeah, so I knew this ship was carrying a lot of weed and that it would be dehydrated for transport. So I lured the fish in here where its water layer would be sucked off by the dehydrated weed, and then it would dehydrate and die.
Damn, sucked off by weed. What a way to go.
I'm sure there's a kink for that. We did also get, like, I think it's episode 2 is the one that ends with Maru, the male lead, telling Kiriko that he likes her. And Kiriko goes, sorry, I have the body of a woman, but I'm actually a boy. Which is not actually that she's trans. He's trans. They're trans. It's that freak horrible medical things were done to Kiriko and she is actually her brother in her body or vice versa. I forget exactly which way around it is because she and her brother were both half eaten by a monster 5 years previously and a freak doctor stitched them together into one person. This show is fucked up in some really compelling ways. Finally, episodes 29 to 31 of PatLabor the TV. Most of the plot here, 1331 particularly, are kind of series plot episodes. Most of that is about an evil corporation engineering opportunities to test its evil, super high-tech mech because they have a problem that the mech has so much cool shit on it, including a jetpack, that it's too expensive to make for them to mass produce it, and they don't really have a way to prove its viability. It's not clear what they're trying to accomplish with it. But before that, there is an episode that starts with like 5 minutes of the main character trying to remember the takeout order for the entire base. Because apparently there's one restaurant that will deliver to their base because it's quite remote. And every day it is Noah's job. She is the number 2 mech pilot of the entire division. And for some reason, it's her job to do the food order for like 50 people. And she does it without taking notes.
Jesus.
And it's not like everybody orders the same thing every day either. And then the restaurant is just like one chef and one delivery driver. And the delivery driver gets sick of being bossed around and goes AWOL and delivers their food to a pack of stray dogs. And everyone on base loses their minds from hunger. And the climax of the episode is they all go to the restaurant, but they end up with food poisoning. Tara put it really interesting. Like, the plot stuff is really cool. It's beautifully animated. It's really well executed. But plot stuff like that happens in lots of anime. PatLabor the TV is the only mecha show where you get that kind of materially well thought out slice of life goofball shit. Like, Infinite Stratos is a mech comedy show. It's got all sorts of nonsense goofball stuff, but it's not grounded in the quite serious real robot materiality of PatLabor, really trying to think about what it would be like if people made mechs as an industrial thing. And it was, just a spiraling wonder of an episode. Nothing else like it. So, I think that wraps up for this week.
I believe so.
So We're Watching That Right is a project of Slimebug Productions. Intro and outro music is by me, graphics are by Val. You can find us on Blue Sky at slimebug.bsky.social, YouTube at youtube.com/@slimebugproductions, download all episodes from Libsyn at slimebug.pro, and join our Discord via the link in the description. Thanks for listening, and until next time, may anime neither betray nor disappoint you.